It's the Alan Thompson Show here on BBC Radio Wales. That is a tremendous new single called Trouble's Lament from an excellent album that comes out on the 12th of May with a great title, Unrepentant Geraldines. And my special guest on the programme tonight explaining all about this is the legend that is Tori Amos. Good evening to you, Tori.
Hey there, Alan.
How are you?
Really well.
Wow.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on the programme. We've got lots to talk about. Trouble's Lament is the track that we just heard there. I'm loving that tune. Tell me a bit about the track and the single.
Well, I was born in North Carolina, and I guess growing up with records from Johnny Cash and hearing those kinds of stories being told in a specific way kind of got in my bones. And I don't know, I've had a lot of grandmothers in my life, very religious on my father's side, particularly a Scottish one that would chase me around telling me that I was conjuring all kinds of demons. And so, I don't know, the song just decided to possess me.
It took you over.
Yes.
Yeah, so that song then has been sitting there for quite a long time inside you somewhere.
But I think so. Yeah, I think the South, it's wherever I go, it's just one of those things. It's something that's in the DNA.
Yeah, and it comes out years later and makes an excellent single. The album that's coming out on the 12th of May has a brilliant title, Unrepentant Geraldines. Now, what's going on there?
Well, there's a picture of Geraldine, who's from Ireland, and I saw it in Ireland, and she was looking up at the Mother Mary, praying. And I just could hear my grandmother saying, that girl isn't really praying to the Mother Mary. She's got something on in her mind, Geraldine. I know what's on her mind. And I started reading the story of her, and sure enough, Geraldine was up to all kinds of things. And I thought, right, I'm sure that there are things that we've had to apologize for before we've even done it. You think you've got a grandmother chasing you around when you're saying, I haven't even done anything yet. Oh, but I know what you're thinking.
Your grandmother sounded like quite a shrewd cookie.
Yes, she was. She wasn't the funnest person I ever met. You couldn't dance. She didn't believe in dancing.
So she wasn't a million laughs.
No,
What we call in Wales a tough crowd.
Yeah,
Your grandmother was a tough crowd.
She was a tough crowd.
What was Geraldine up to?
I would say that she was following her heart and not thinking about the consequences. And sometimes we've all been there. We've all followed our heart and not really thought about the consequences.
Yeah.
And I began to think of trouble being personified. I've been trouble before, and I think there are a lot of young gals out there that who are trouble, and they might be running from some kind of situation.
The album, before we talk about the content, tell me about the recording of the record.
Well, the recording had to fit in between these other projects. That's what's so unusual about this record for me, is that I didn't really set out to write a pop record. I was under contract with Deutsche Grammophon, the classical label, making a classical variation on the theme, Night of Hunters. And I was working with the British National Theatre, making The Light Princess. I was under contract with them. And therefore, this record had to happen in between all these other contracted projects. So it was my little secret sonic selfie, in a way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Secret sonic selfie.
Yeah.
Tricky to say.
Yeah. So we made it in Cornwall. We recorded it in Cornwall.
Yeah. Because you got a place in Cornwall, haven't you?
My husband has a place in Cornwall. That's where the studio is. And it's just the three of us, me, Mark, and Marcel.
Yeah.
We made the record, and I dragged my daughter into it. She's singing on a track.
Is she?
Yeah, she's 13. She's good fun.
Yeah. And when you're recording in such a beautiful part of the world, are you affected by that? I mean, does that come out in the record, if you like?
What I'd say to you is that when you walk in the studio from the outside, it looks like a 350-year-old barn.
Yeah.
And then you walk in, and you're in the TARDIS. And you have all this engineer gear and guitars all over the place. And you kind of walk out of a world that could be 300 years ago. If you don't look at the tractors next door, And they're a great family. There's a Cornish family that's been farming that for a long time.
Yeah.
And if you don't look at the hardware in that way, it could be any time.
Yeah.
A couple hundred years ago. But when you walk in the studio,
It's a modern studio.
absolutely.
Yeah. It's interesting. Is there a theme going throughout the record that's sort of sprung from the stories you were just telling us about your grandmother? Does that go throughout the whole of the album?
It does go through. I mean, I turned 50 a few months ago, and I guess...
So did I. How was that?
Well, it wasn't so great. I mean, it was when I finally got there.
Yeah?
Once I got, a few weeks later, yeah.
You were 50 in August.
Yeah.
I was 50 in July. It was murder.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah?
You and Johnny Depp, the two of you turned
Yeah.
50 at a similar
We're
time.
so similar in so many ways, me and Johnny Depp.
Exactly. Exactly. But don't you feel the thing is, for some people turning 50, they seem to be perceived as, I don't know, just kind of stepping into this, I don't know, place of experience and wisdom, and their image is still an aphrodisiac for the public. And I kind of am looking over thinking, I don't know if I'm feeling that. This time last year, I have to tell you, I wasn't embracing it.
No.
No. But my daughter kicked some sense into me. She did.
There are worse things, I think. I mean, has it made, with your music and your songwriting, has it made you more reflective? And does that come out, in fact, on this record?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all kinds of things were happening. I was probably torturing everybody over the last year when I was 49 because...
Banging on about, are you about to turn 50?
Yeah, I think so. You know how it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Driving everybody nuts.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, I probably created most of the problems anyway. And therefore, I'd have to go off and take myself away to write because I think there were a lot of stories coming up that needed to be told. See, I have a younger, my husband's a couple years younger than I am.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have a boy toy.
Toy boy.
Yeah,
How many years younger, if you don't mind me asking?
2 years.
Oh, that's not too bad.
It's not too bad, no. But psychologically, it's great.
It's interesting. So it is a reflective piece, and of course, when you hit a milestone age like that, you do tend to look back, don't you? So that's bound to come out of a thought in your music and your writing.
Yes, you do look back,
Yeah.
and there were all kinds of things that I was thinking about, and yet people would, my goodness, when I'd be on my travels, people would talk to me. There was this boy in England who's 17, and he was talking to me about, you have no idea what it's like to be 17 and the pressure. It's a terrible age. And I'm just looking at him saying, you have your whole life in front of you. And you've got the world by the ear. And he'd say to me, but I have to make a choice about what I'm going to do in college and university. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I've got to choose for the next 40 years of my life. Are you kidding me? And I started thinking, oh. And then I'm running into the 20-somethings in New York City who are saying to me, I just got out of university. I can't get a job. I owe my life. I owe so much money. I'm in debt. And, my future's bleak. And so this song about age, I started thinking, 50's the new black. 50's happening. Just let me get there. And the song 16 Shades of Blue started to write itself.
Yeah. We'll play that. We'll play that now, and then more from Tori Amos right after this.
Are you telling me it's over? Disintegrating, lost, and there's nothing I can do. Before you drop another verbal bomb, can I arm myself with Cezanne 16 shades of blue? As my heart is slowly ripping into pieces, disconnecting from the circuits of my mind. You'll get over it, you say. In time, if the clock so black, absorbing everything but remembering how we made it that clock so say get over it if 50 is the new black. Hooray, this could be your lucky day. But my cables, they are surging, almost overloading as you disengage. Could your heart be slowly ripping into pieces, disconnecting from the circuits of your mind? We'll get over it, you say. In time, if the clocks are black, observing everything but remembering how we made it. That clocks are black. That's it, you're done. You screwed up your life before it's begun. There are those who say I am now too old to play. See over there at 33, she fears she'll lose her job because they hear the ticking of her clock. At only 15, I said 15, they say her future's bleak. She should have started this at 3. As her heart is slowly ripping into pieces, disconnecting from the circuits of her mind. She'll get over it, you say. In time, stop the time. If the clocks are black, observing everything but remembering how we made it. That how our clocks are black. Before you drop another verbal bomb, can I arm myself with Cezanne 16 shades of blue?
It's the Alan Thompson Show here on BBC Radio Wales. Tori Amos is my special guest on the programme tonight. Unrepentant Geraldines is the new album, which comes out on the 12th of May. The single, which you played earlier, is Trouble's Lament, and Tori is talking to me on the programme tonight. We spent some of the interview talking about the fact that you have just turned 50. You broke onto the scene, I guess it must be, 25 years ago, something like that, when you first came onto the music scene?
Came onto the music scene, it was the 80s, the late 80s, and I had a failed record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took a while for you to get the big break, but it did happen for you. I mean, does that seem like to you like a very long time ago, or does it seem like last week?
Seems like last week.
Does it?
Yeah, in some ways. I mean, my bones wouldn't say that. My muscles would say, who are you kidding, old girl? That was not last week. But it doesn't seem like it's been 22 years since Little Earthquakes came out.
Yeah. Is it 22 years?
Yes.
Wow. And can you still relate to those older songs when you hear them, or does it? I mean, if you hear "Cornflake Girl," for example, I mean, obviously you're a fan of it, but does it seem like it was written by somebody else, or can you still relate to that older stuff?
You might not believe me, but the songs. Maybe this is because over the years, so many people will tell me their relationship with the song and their stories, and that begins to change how I see a song, because. You know, I have my impressions of what they're about, but the songs have always said, oh, just stop, that's your opinion. And yet you have to be open to other people's opinions about it. And honestly, people have come up with all kinds of things, and it does reflect in the live performance, because their experience, then, I take on those stories when I'm performing the song.
That's interesting. It's funny what people see in your material. You know, they could think it's about something that's nothing to do with the song at all, but you embrace that and it takes it on a different journey, if you like.
Let's be honest with each other. Some songs are written about people that are not in your life anymore.
Yeah.
They're just not there.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't necessarily think of those people when I'm singing a song from 20 years ago live. I'm thinking of all the stories that people have told me about that this song is a part of now.
It's interesting. Are you still influenced by the songwriters and the artists that you were when you were starting out as a kid?
I would say yes.
Yeah?
I think that's core stuff.
Who were they, Tori?
Okay, loads, but here we go. So, of course, you're British people, Wales. I love the Welsh, the way they sing.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many Welsh people I meet who have the most beautiful voices. People auditioning for The Light Princess. I would just look at somebody again. I said, where are they from? Oh, they're from Wales. Say, amazing voices.
Yeah.
And of course, I remember hearing Tom Jones.
Yeah.
I got to work with Tom Jones.
Did you?
I did in the 90s, and it was a great experience. But the Beatles.
Ah.
The Beatles, I think, for so many kids, really little kids, the structure, because I was tiny when I heard them, and those magical structures, the arrangements, particularly, from 65 on.
Yeah.
Just completely blew my mind. And I think that some of those arrangements and songs are just fresh.
Yeah.
When I hear them now.
50 years old, and yet they still sound as relevant today as they've always done, I think.
They really do.
Yeah. Finally, are you going out? I guess you're touring to support the new record.
80 shows.
80 shows?
Yeah,
That's a lot.
I know, right?
That's a lot for a 50-year-old. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I know, but yes. But we're also making a record on the road. So
Oh, really?
I figured if I were 80, I would only be allowed to do 80 shows and not make a record on the road. But yeah, we're doing the Light Princess cast album with the orchestra. That'll be out next year. So we're doing a record while we're doing the 80 shows.
Yeah. You coming to Wales?
I'm not sure.
Oh, come on, Tori, you got to. They love you here.
This is what I want to tell you.
Yeah.
It's the promoters that book you. Yeah. I go where the bus takes me. So come find me. No, I'm serious. I don't know where. If you said to me, where are you going in America? Oh, my gosh, I have no idea.
You get on the bus, they drive you there, you get out and you do the show.
Yeah, I just hope I don't end up in some, with a sheriff somewhere in some little town. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, what have I done now?
Well, I'm sure that won't be the case. The single is Trouble's Lament. The album is Unrepentant Geraldines. There's a great cover on the single. You've got some wicked boots on there that look like snakeskin. Look at those.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're brocade, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, they are. Those happen to be, and the boots are open toe, so they're for the summer.
Okay.
They're summer boots, so they're like sandal boot.
And you got sort of Bono shades on. Look at you going on here. You still got the rock star looks. Great. It's great to have you on the programme, Tori. Thank you ever so much.
Thanks, Alan.
Never was a cornflake girl. Thought that was a good solution, hanging with the raisin girls. She's gone to the other side, giving us a yo-yo. Things are getting kind of gross, and I go at sleepy time. This is not really, this is not really happening. You bet your life it is. You bet your life it is. Honey, you bet your life it's a peel out the watchword. Just peel out the watchword. What's going on? Seems we got a cheaper feel now. All the sweet teas are gone. Gone to the other side with my encyclopedia. They must have paid her a nice price. She's putting on a stupid love. This is not really happening. couch would just peel.